A reporter reached out to me and spent 40 minutes asking me questions about Magic Finance. And I wanted to talk about those questions, those answers with you. Question number one was, why are Magic prices at all time highs? I believe that the short answer is new players. Universes Beyond has brought in an influx of new people that are interested in Magic the Gathering, and they are spending money. And they're not just spending money on the newest stuff, they're going back in time and spending money. You can see a video that I made a couple days ago about commander decks and how commander decks are raising in price. We like to kind of complain and moan about the collector booster boxes, the Hobbit collector booster box being $800+ at release, or older products like March of the Machines or heaven forbid the Lord of the Rings special edition collector boxes being so expensive. And yes, that is true. And we like to picture for ourselves some kind of rich fat cat that, the whales are the reason why Magic is expensive. But the reality about Magic the Gathering is that so much of it is player centric, and so much of the pricing is player driven. The majority of the money that gets spent is on things like play boxes, commander decks, and it's a lot. It's a lot. And there's a lot of money to be made, by the way, from people who are buying, holding, selling commander decks, play boxes, etc. The dirty scalpers. But as for why prices are at all-time high today, because it's not just the collector booster boxes that are at all-time highs, although they most definitely are. It's also things like play boxes. It's like Final Fantasy play boxes being over $200 a box, or name any of these sets that are still in standard rotation but haven't been reprinted in some time, and they get quite pricey. And then, of course, the collector booster boxes are expensive. Commander deck sets are becoming expensive, especially considering that they've been taking things out of the commander deck sets, like the collector sample packs. And so, why are prices at all-time highs? Well, people are buying the stuff. People are ripping it. One of the kind of most brilliant and interesting ways to acknowledge what Magic the Gathering is that Magic the Gathering is a scarce collectible. These sealed Magic boxes and products, commander decks, collector booster boxes, whatever, that people love to destroy, love to rip them open. Once you've opened up the packs, the value of that sealed box or that sealed commander deck or whatever is different. There's still value in the cards, but it's not what it was as a sealed kind of collector item. And so there's just a constant incentive for people to enjoy Magic the Gathering just like they should, but that involves destroying what was previously a sealed, kind of collectible type product. And so that's what we're seeing. Prices are going up because new players, old players, lots of players are consuming these products, are opening them, are ripping them, and having a good time, just like they should be. And it's demand. I believe this demand is organic. We see this in things like the commander deck sets and play boxes performing so well. It's not just that all the money is concentrated on just a couple collector's items that are booming to the moon. There's a lot of money going into these regular kind of consumed items as well. So that would be my answer for why are Magic prices at all-time highs. Question number 2. Who are the people that invest and speculate on Magic? Right. So this question is quite interesting because I got a chance to talk with the person interviewing me about the $10,000 Lord of the Rings special edition collector booster boxes. And that's obviously an anomaly, but to answer the question of who are the people buying those, I don't know. I know Charlie said he was willing to buy those boxes for around $6,000, which is funny because I think the TCG player price right now is like $5,000 for those Lord of the Rings collector booster boxes. So it suggests that Charlie was one of the only people willing to buy those at that price, which makes sense to me. But there are people buying Bloomborough collector boxes. Phyrexia All Will Be One collector booster boxes, Duskmourn collector booster boxes, March of the Machines and Brothers War collector booster boxes for $7, $8, $9, $1,000, hundreds upon hundreds to $1,000+ for one collector booster box. I don't understand those people. There, of course, is the speculators. There's people who are buying, like a Brothers War collector booster box, thinking like, oh, I'm spending $800 now, but it's going to be $1,600 in a year. I understand that. What I don't understand are the people who are buying it and then just opening it. Good for those people. Like I'm glad you get that kind of rich quality of fun or whatever, but that's wild. What I do understand is the kind of people that do invest in these products at a much more what I would consider sustainable and less speculative way. Not just collector booster boxes, but even commander decks, play booster boxes, draft nights, whatever they are, they go up in value. They go up in value because of scarcity, because they get printed and then there's some time before they get reprinted, or they never get reprinted, like in the case of collector booster boxes. And so if you are patient and, a little clever, you buy when the price is low, when things have been reprinted, or are newly printed in the case of collector booster boxes, and then you wait until that product becomes scarce. The play boxes are being opened up and are less and less available. They're no longer available at distribution. And even months after that, they're just rare out in the Magic ecosystem. Same thing for commander decks. Things like Edge of Eternity's commander decks are drying up at distribution and other locations. And we see that. We see the prices going up. The people who buy when the product is just newly printed and then have the patience and the resources to wait to sell them when they're more scarce make good money. And then, of course, for collector booster boxes, you buy when they're newly printed. Sometimes you can get burned buying, pre-ordering collector booster boxes or buying at a, brand new kind of price. But for the most part, people who have pre-ordered and bought collector booster boxes right when they come out have made great returns over time in the months and years following. And so the kind of people that invest and speculate on Magic, there's all kinds of people, whether they have, $500, $1,000, $10,000, money that you don't need to live on, and money that is meant to be invested. Now, do I recommend that your primary investment for retirement or for your future be Magic the Gathering products? I do not. But it does impress me the more time I spend in this space how much money there is to be made by people who are careful about reprint cadences, are careful about the price they get into products in, and people who have the resources and patience to buy, hold, and sell when the prices are higher. So lots of people do this. It's blown my mind how many people I've met through having a YouTube channel and a Discord and Patreon and whatever that do this kind of stuff, which is really cool. And the last question is, has Magic investing always been this way? And this question is great because there is a long, fascinating history to investing in Magic. And I have not been heavily involved for all of that. I have been playing the game since 2011 with Scars of Mirrodin. My friend brought me a starter deck and I opened up a mythic in my first booster pack and off to the races. But I wasn't tracking markets or speculating or whatever then. I didn't have the money for that then. But what I am more familiar with are these recent years from, let's call it 2021 till now. 2021 was a big boom in Magic, especially I would consider more speculative parts of Magic like vintage singles, vintage sealed boxes. To my knowledge, there wasn't an incredible boom in collector booster box prices at that time, although I could be wrong about that. That wasn't something I was paying close attention to, but there's just a contrast with now, because even now in our kind of booming, frothy market, we aren't seeing a rise in a lot of the things that were rising in 2021. We're not seeing the spike in vintage singles or vintage sealed. It's just interesting. But after that kind of frothy, spiking, booming market of 2021, things slowed down dramatically. 2022 was a dark year to be trying to make money buying and flipping Magic the Gathering. It was a year of overprinting. It was a year of sets that people were not fans of, that didn't resonate well. It was a year of Magic 30th edition, which kind of ruined investing and the vibes of investing as a whole. And what Magic 30th edition was, for those of you who don't know, I mean, you think that this upcoming Secret Lair Zeta set is a cash grab. Magic 30th edition was for $1,000, you get 4 packs of proxy cards of alpha. And something that's been talked about on like Kitchen Table TCG's podcast, May the Zoo be with you, not a sponsor. Although I am in their episode, and you should go check out May the Zoo be with you, because the episode that comes out today, when this video comes out, I'm in it. Unless they edit me out, which I wouldn't blame them, but I think I'm in it. So what they talk about is that Magic 30th edition could have been a great success if it was like buy a full booster box of proxy alpha and then you could draft alpha with your friends. You know, that could have been cool, but no, it was $1,000 for 4 booster packs of non-tournament legal cards. Proxies, there were reprints. I mean, they're proxies, but they're reprints of reserve list cards. And that left a bad taste in everyone's mouth. Players hated it, collectors hated it, investors hated it. It did not sell out. It was on the Secret Lair website for a few hours, for like 6 hours, and then it was taken down because nobody was buying it. There's some of it out there now in the wild, but not very much. So that was an event that kind of summarized the vibe of Wizards and investing and Magic as a game in 2022, 2023, because it just wasn't good. People were very disincentivized from wanting to put their money into Magic the Gathering because Wizards of the Coast was not managing the company very well. That changed in early 2024. Ravnica Remastered, right? That's what it's called. The Ravnica, reprint set that came out. There was a sharp decline. My understanding is there's a sharp decline in the number of collector booster boxes that was printed in that set. That's part of the reason why it's so easy to open serialized cards in Ravnica Remastered collector booster boxes, is because they had all the serialized cards, but then they drastically limited the number of boxes, and so there's more serialized cards and less boxes. Anyways, but 2024, they started to take print runs seriously. They started to take kind of the investor collector side seriously. By my best estimates, only 5 to 10% of all spend in Magic the Gathering is by investors. That being said, that 5-10% makes a big difference when you're trying to get to 100%, or you're trying to be a successful, stock Hasbro Wizards company. And so it's important. It's important to Wizards of the Coast, and it's important to Hasbro and, all the corporate suits, the people we all hate, to make sure that the investors are happy. And that wasn't something that was done in 2022 and 2023, but in 2024, things started to change. Print runs were reined in. Collector booster boxes were collectible and scarce. Not every set was a banger. There's Murders at Karla Manor that didn't do well, and Outlaws of Thunder Junction wasn't particularly successful either, but it was the beginning of the bull market that we find ourselves in today. And the world we find ourselves in today is that collector booster boxes, if you're able to get them at distribution prices, they're easy money. That wasn't true before 2024. And so that's just one detail that really summarizes this world that we live in now, where Magic the Gathering is extremely healthy from the perspective of opportunities to make money. It's also, is it healthy as a game? Is it healthy as a community, and et cetera? I don't know. There's other channels that could hash that out. But as far as the financial side of things, from my, where I sit, it seems quite healthy. So that's my answer to, has Magic investing always been this way? No, but it is this way now, and there's lots of money to be made. So anyways, thanks for watching. Huge thanks to my patrons. And like I said, check out May the Zoo be with you, Kitchen Table TCG's YouTube channel. Subscribe there and follow that podcast. I think that podcast is great, but I am on the episode that has come out today. And so go in there, and in the comment section, let them know that you like my stuff. And if you don't like my stuff, then don't do anything. Don't do anything. Anyway, subscribe. Thank you. See ya.